How's it going, everybody? Alright, so tonight we are going to go over the class cards for the new Rusticon's Rumble for Hearthstone. It's being released Monday. Or no, actually, I take that back. It's going to be released, yeah, Monday, December 3rd. We're going to start off with Druid, which, if you've been playing Hearthstone, you know we've basically it's been Druid Stone because Druids are very strong no matter how many more nerfs they keep giving them. But we'll go over the cards. As far as ratings and such, necessarily we're going to kind of see how they fit into the meta kind of now and what they might do. Of course, nothing can be displayed for what's going to happen in the future. But, it is what it is. Feel free to come in, chat, and leave a comment about what you think. Alright, so Druid. Druids mainly have like a hand. Well, they have like a hero power type deal. So every class has the Loa or the totem. Then we have the actual Loa and then the champion for that Loa. So this time we got the Loa's Gonk the Raptor. After your hero power attacks and kills a minion, it may attack again. So if you saw the video, you know that with Twig, basically a card that allows you once it's destroyed to use, get full mana, 10 mana. It can be pretty strong, and that's why they mentioned on there that they had at one point at 5 Gonk at 5 mana, and he was just kind of overpowered, so they changed from 7. I can see that. So overall, though, Druid, I mean, going after all these cards, which we'll discuss all the cards here in a moment, but honestly, the power level of it is a little weaker than normal, but honestly, because Druid's been so strong, I'm okay with it. To be honest, Druid could probably use none of these cards in this expansion and still be a contender, a tier 1, tier 2 deck. Especially with the whole like Azalina and all the kind of different things they've been doing. But Druid does his own things. And not to mention Taunt Druid. But anyway, alright. So Gonk. I mean, if Druids still if they create a deck that uses Gonk, then he's going to be in it, of course. But any of the hero power stuff, Gonk is going to be used. Anything hero power related, of course, Spirit of the Raptor will be used. Pounce. I mean, all that stuff will be used. But let's go over the cards individually and kind of go overview of the class. So we got Gonk. Use your hero power multiple times. I mean, he's a high health minion, so he can be used that way, and he just is versatile. It essentially comes down to if you're able to, as Druid, escalate your mana quickly to put in a high health creature in, and then you might be able to use it multiple times. But of course, you want to use your totem, which is Spirit of Raptor, the Raptor Gonk. Stealth for 1 turn after your hero attacks and kills a minion, draw a card. So that's where the combo is going to come into play. Of course, it's 7 mana for Gonk, 1 mana for the Spirit, the totem. It's a totem, but it's not a totem, essentially. But Spirit of Raptor, you got 7, that's 8, so of course it fit in a hero power if you had 10 mana. And, if you have a weapon, you'll be able to attack even without using your hero power. War Druid Lodi, so for her, she has multiple different ones. She can transform into one of 4 different things. You got the War Druid. So you got one that's 3 mana 1/2, poisonous and stealth. Another one that's a 1/6 taunt. Another that's a 4/2 rush, and the other is a spell damage 1/4. So all of them are beasts. I mean, honestly, in the sense of her by herself, she's 3 mana, so she's low cost legendary, so that's always a good thing. What makes her strong is the versatility, the fact that she can transform into different ones when you need it. Now, albeit each individual one is not that strong. I'll be honest, I mean, she would be better in Wild because with Fandral, she becomes this. Fandral Stackham, if you didn't know, he's in Wild right now, where all of these combined essentially, so it'd be a 4/6 with everything. So if this is played and constructed now, it would mainly be for the fact that she's super versatile, and that's mainly it. Because she's super versatile, if you need her for rush, if you have swipe and you need the spell damage to do more, um, you're up against what, big priest or something, and you need a poisonous stealth to kill something, or you need to protect your life points or your health, I should say. Sorry, this isn't Yu-Gi-Oh. But anyway, so yeah, I mean that's where her strength is. She's a low cost minion to where she'll be able to use multiple different ones. Overall, I think it's going to be an all right card. Maybe stronger in future expansions, but right now Druid does Druid stuff already. So if she's played, she'll be played for the versatility, and that's about it. Next is Stampeding Roar. Summon a random beast from your hand and give it rush. So the problem with this card is it'll be good for anything up to a certain point. So like if you're innovate, I mean if you're able to get out quickly, like if you were up to like explode mana up to 6 and then throw this out to get like Tyrantus or something of that nature, that would be helpful. But at a certain point, if you're like at 8 mana, you might as well play whatever you're playing. So by itself, it's like, okay, it is what it is. But I mean, think of it, 12/12 Tyrannus with Rush, now that would help you, because you discounted him. But otherwise, I mean, there's really no point in having that card in your deck. It's taking a deck slot. It really is. Alright, next. Let's see, give me one moment. Alright, I'm back. So, Tree Speaker. So this one thing about Druid, which is still maybe tier 2 deck or something, is Token Druid. I mean, having the different tokens, having to like buff them and clearing and always having stuff on the board. This one is specific to treants though. So of course, the fact that it allows you to transform your treants into 5/5 ancients, which is basically 5/5 creatures. I mean, it's pretty strong, but of course, it's specifically treants. So we just had, you know, cards that basically makes was basically allows you to have tokens like you have Violet Teacher. Those are 1/1 students. They're not going to transform. So the fact that it's specific to treants, you got to get all the treant cards together. That can be bad for Druid, but on the offhand, if you were able to get like maybe what, let's just say you have two treants, landscaping card. You put in, you play that, you get two treants, and you drop this down and change those to 5/5s. It's already paid for itself. So it's good if you're able to get a combo going. If you're able to get what you want it to go. Honestly, I think this will be stronger in the future, especially in future expansions when they have treant specific stuff, but now that it's just what we have now may not be in the strength of caliber that it needs to be a good constructed deck. Alright, so next we got Predatory Instincts. Draw a beast from your deck, double its health. Hadronox is the best thing that this would get. Of course, you get Witchwood Grizzly. And in the video, of course, that's what they wanted. I mean, if you have that specific creatures out, it could be good because you're just pulling. I mean, you're tutoring from your deck, so that's strong. I mean, regardless of whom, whatever it is, you're getting what you need when you need it. The only problem is if your deck is full of beasts, like, I mean, think of it. You pull out Hadronox, that's good, you got Hadronox, but what's the point when you're just going to kill it by using Naturalize or any of the instant kill ones? It's not going to stay on the board, it's not going to stay as, you're not going to taunt it, because you're going to want to instantly, you want it to die to get your taunts. So, yet another card that probably be strong in the future. Just right now, it's just not in the meta that we're in. Mark of the Law. Choose one, give a minion +2/+4, and taunt or summon 2/3/2 raptors. Token druid essentially is probably the best one for it. I mean, you already have Druid Strong with the choose one choices. I mean, honestly, it's a good thing that overall that this time around Druid is a little, I guess, weaker in comparison. But in past iterations, I mean, what, you got Ultimate Infestation that does everything. 10 mana, summon a 5/5, draw 5 cards, all this on top of everything. Spreading Plague, all this stuff. So, I mean, Druid's already strong. So, if they were to give it like weak cards in the next few expansions, that would kind of balance it out. But Mark of the Law, I mean, kind of a mid-range type thing. 4 mana. If you summon 2/3/2 raptors, it kind of help you out a little bit. But honestly, by that time, you're either super far ahead or you're losing. And you need to, I guess, use the taunt feature to protect yourself. The 4 health on taunt will help, but you know, it by itself is kind of a weaker one. I already talked about Spirit of Raptor, basically the fact that you can draw cards. I mean, that's, if you're going to do a hero power druid, that's what you're gonna essentially need this to keep drawing, keep going to your next cards. So it's a must-have if you're gonna have Gonk, if you're gonna have this whole theme, this thematic stuff together, you will have it. All right, Ironhide Direhorn, 7 mana, 7/7, overkill. Summon a 5/5 Ironhide Runt. So overkill is essentially, like the name implies, you overkilled it. It has 5 health, you attack it with a 7 attack minion, and it's super dead. So then that would trigger. So every time, but the only thing is, of course, it would have to be on your turn, not when someone's attacking into it, which weakens it a little, but at 7 attack, it's going to be able to kill a lot of different, I mean, not a lot of different things, but a lot of weaker things, I should say. So if you're able to actually summon a 5/5 Ironhide Runt, that's great. The drawback here, of course, unless you can give this rush, like Stampeding Roar, it's just on the field, your opponent has a way to deal with it. And if they don't, you are already in a winning position. So Stampeding Roar, of course, you'll be able to summon it and then start getting some of the 5/5 Ironhide Runts. But honestly, we've already established that, I mean, these are taking up cards in your deck. And Druid already has, you know, their decks normally already have most of their cards. You're going to have swipes, you're going to have all these different things in it. It may not be usable at this point in time. All right, so we got 2 mana, 2/3, Savage Striker. Battlecry, deal damage to an enemy minion equal to your hero's attack. So, I mean, I guess if you're already doing a hero power type deck, you may want to include it just so then that way you weaken whatever it is. So you play this, say your hero power, you haven't attacked yet, and it says 2/3 attack, depending if you have a weapon or if you play Pounce. You're going to have Spirit of the Raptor out. It weakens it, so then that way you can hero power it, get a card. I mean, it's doable, and drawing cards is important. But yet again, do you want to take up a card in your deck to get all this? Now, of course, if you're doing a hero power druid, then yes, you would want it. Otherwise, druid already is like in a commanding position with what they already have. All this would be experimented with, but overall would be like, I'm already winning. I don't need some crazy new deck in order to do it. And of Pounce, as I alluded to, 0 mana, give you hero +2 attack this turn. So anything 0 mana is already strong. So, I mean, honestly, it's auto include if you're going to do a hero power deck. And this will be experimented with whenever this expansion comes out Monday. But it's going to be strong. It really is going to be strong in the future. It really is. Right now, Druid doesn't need it. I mean, you're already ramping up mana to get these high mana costed things out. I mean, yet again, it's another one of those things Drew is strong in, versatility. So, yeah, you'll be versatile to get a free attack, combo it with Savage Striker, combo it with Spirit of the Raptor, combo with Gonk. But unless this is a winning thing, Pounce, Savage Striker, Spirit of the Raptor, Gonk, all this stuff, using all these cards to draw more cards, after a while, you're going to run out of cards. So, I'm sure this will be experimented with. It'll be added with what the current meta already has. And of course, you already have the Death Knight that you can get the +3 attack, or you can even use your use the hero power to get armor and just use this as a means to attack while getting armor at the same time. But still weak overall. So overall, all of these cards, all of Druid, power level wise, are weaker than they have in the past. But Druid's such a commanding lead in Hearthstone at this moment that, I mean, honestly, it's like, unless you love Druid, be thankful, because they'll probably still be strong afterwards anyway. All right, the next class we have Hunter. So Hunter has like a beast theme going on this time, and overall, they're going to end up being a little stronger than they have been in the past. I mean, right now, if you're playing Hunter, you're going to be spell or secret heavy. So this kind of takes a more beast centric aspect to it, minion based. So that can help in the long run. But anyway, starting off, we got Zul'jin. That is the one hero for this expansion. The battle card, all spells you've played this game, it'll cast them. Targets chosen randomly. So, okay, so here is 10 mana. So, I mean, that's great. It's 10 mana. So, it is. Otherwise, I mean, if it was any weaker than that, you can just throw out spells on top of it and then play it if it had less mana. But it's going to be played in conjunction to the Death Knight it already has. So, the hero powers mainly stay the same, deal 2 damage. Now, I guess the good thing is that it's I don't know. Here you have the hero Death Knight that allows you like a more controlling to be able to make minions. And then you have this that can be almost like a finisher, if you will. They cast all the spells you've already done previously. So all those secrets that you've played early in the game, all the the kill commands, all that stuff that you've done, it's going to play them again. The drawback, of course, that it could play on your own side of the board, so you definitely want secret based spells so then that way you kind of redo them. So anything that in it plays them immediately, so it's not like you get them back in your hand. So that's why it's 10 mana. It's already pretty strong. Of course, everyone's going to really be playing with him. I mean, if you're a hunter, you're going to be playing both Death Knights, more than likely, on top of whatever you already have. The key is this is more of a control hunter-ish, and if you're a hunter, you want to go face. That's all you want to do. Face is the place. So, is it auto include into all hunters? At this moment, yes. After a few months from now, we'll see. The fact that it can replay what you've already played early in the game, and now we're in a spell hunter territory currently. Yes, it's going to be played. Granted. So overall, it's a good card. We'll see how strong it is. All right, the other legendary, the actual spirit is Halazi. The links, Battlecry, fill your hand with 1/1 links that have rush. 5 mana, 3/2. So a lot of hype's been going on with this one. That, of course, the 1/1s. So Hunter had their quest that no one really plays. Why? When you can just go face. But with this, it can kind of accomplish what wasn't accomplished in the past when you try to do 1/1s. I mean, it's going to be experimented with, and the fact that it has rush, so it can have an effect on the board. But you got to remember, we're in a meta of Spell Hunter. Other than like the Subject 9, where you have Subject 9, but then you have all these other spells and stuff, so that's why Zul'jin will be strong. But the links, I mean, the key is if you're going to have the links in it, you're definitely going to have Spirit of the Links, which going ahead, Spirit of Links, stealth, 1 turn, they all come in stealth. Whenever you summon a beast, give it +1/+1. So that would be great, of course. Play all these 1/1s that essentially come out with 2/2s with rush. That's strong. I mean, that really is. But the key is they have rush and they affect the board when you want to go face. So this is more of a mid-range type. I mean, I guess kind of controlling type. But how well will it do in a spell hunter world that we're in right now? Now, of course, we'll see how the meta changes in 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now. But in this expansion, just going over all of the cards, Hunter got the good end of the stick, I guess you could say. Master's Call, discover a minion in your deck. If all 3 are beasts, draw them all. So, of course, if you haven't noticed, this is all a themed beast deck. So, if all these are going to be run, we're going to get away from Spell Hunter and get towards beasts like Savannah Highmane, all those strong beast cards that they've already had. The key is, are you going to fill your deck with beast only? Which, if you are, you're going to have this in it. And it's not even discover a copy of it. You're basically pulling that card in your deck to your hand. You're discovering it. And you're hoping all 3 of them are beasts so you can get all of them. And if not, then honestly, I don't think this will be worth the deck slot. Because you're going to want the deck slot. I mean, to be honest, Hunter's got some strong cards. You're going to want it for other things. The Beast Within, 1 mana, give a friendly beast +1/+1, then attacks a random enemy minion. So, either you're going to play a minion, give this to it, it gives +1/+1, and then it's like you're giving it charge or rush, however you want to say, because I guess technically it'd be rush because it's attacking the minion, but it of course attacks it randomly. Or you're going to, you already have a minion on the board, give this to it, and then it'll attack again before or after you attack. So I mean, yes, it allows the versatility, but you got to remember, you're not a priest here. You're not healing your minion. It's going to attack twice. It almost, depending what it hits, especially if it's random, may die. So you got to be careful with this. I mean, honestly, I mean, you may want Hunter's Mark or tracking in your deck versus this to get what you need for tracking and Hunter's Mark. I mean, we got Candle Shot, we got all these other, we got weapons, so we can attack the enemy ourselves instead of letting our beasts attack it multiple times. So overall, I think, of course, this will be experimented with, but it'll more than likely be best if you just use the deck slot for something else, the card slot. Put another beast in there, put another Savannah Highmane, put in Carnassus. I mean, there's other stuff. Alright. 3 mana, 2/4, Blitzscale Strategist, Battlecry. If you have a weapon equipped, discover a spell. So this is strong. It's even in the current meta, even though we're in like a spell heavy hunter, then you want this because one, you're gonna have weapons. They're already running Candle Shot. You're already running what was that? Roll. Basically that bow that gives you spells already. That fills your hand with spells. I mean, discovering a spell is going to be great. And the key is, unlike Master's Call, you're not discovering from your deck. You're just discovering it. So, I mean, it's great. Even if you don't have a weapon, a blank 3 mana 2/4, still pretty good. And it has upside. So, overall, it's a good card. Spirit of Lynx, like I was saying before, all the classes have spirits. And this one is a good one. I mean, it's a strong one. Of course, you're going to put it in a beast deck because you want the effect. You want the plus one. So, if you're going to put, the majority of your deck, your spells, beasts, and all this other stuff, it'd be great. And it's summon. So, even spells that allow you to basically summon a beast, they also get amped. So, that's great. Revenge of the Wild, 2 mana, summon your beast that died this turn. I mean, if this is going to be in a deck, it's going to be maybe one copy of it, honestly. Because it's going to be difficult to plan ahead with Hunter. I mean, think of it. Your Hunter, you either have no cards in your hand or close to none because you've used them all to go face. And then you're like, okay, you got to remember this says when the beasts die. So what did you do? Did you take your beast and not hit face? Face is the place. Why didn't you hit face? So that means you sent your minions to attack other minions, and then you re-summon them all. So this will be more of a combo piece, if you will. I'm sure someone's going to make some crazy one-turn kill combo out of this. But aside from that, if they don't, then use the deck slot for other beasts. Baited Arrow, 5 mana, deal 3 damage, overkill, summon a 5/5 Devilsaur. So, you're only doing 3 damage for 5 cost, hoping for the upscale of summoning a 5 mana 5/5. So, at 5 mana, either you've weakened something to where you can play this on a minion and summon it. I mean, granted, you can do it on your own minions, but why would you want to kill your own minions unless they're, 1/1s or something to get the 5/5? But honestly, it's damage. It's damage that Hunter has that can go face, that can kill stuff, take out a taunt, which is cheat, and kill your enemy. So Their weapon is going to be the Headhunter's Hatchet. 2 mana, 2/2. If you control a beast, gain +1 durability. So I'm pretty sure that Fiery Windaxe, which of course was, is different. It's 2 mana, 3/2, but that one was nerfed because of how strong it was. But this one, I mean, it has an upscale. You can hit it for use one more durability, and it's another weapon. But you already have Candle Shot. You already have Eaglehorn Bow. You're already going to play Secrets for the Eaglehorn Bow. I mean, I guess you can include this into it and make like maybe a fifth weapon. But I mean, I guess with a Spell Hunter, if you're trying to do Spell Hunter that currently, weapons don't count as spells, so they don't count against you. So you may want to add that in, and you're already going to do like a Beast Center. It's essentially going to come down to, are you doing? It's probably going to be either or, either Eaglehorn's bow for secrets in your Spell Hunter, or you're a Beast Hunter and you include this. I mean, the choice is yours depending on what type of deck you're going with, but also include the Candle Shots, the Candle Shot bows, whatever you want to call them, because the versatility with them can still be usable. Which I forgot to mention, Candle Shot will be good for the Beta Arrow because you're immune. So if you can hit something lower by a little bit, you can play this. But this just costs so much, 5 mana. You're not hero powering. I mean, this, dang. And finally, Spring Paw. 1 mana, 1/1 Rush. Battlecry, add a 1/1 Lynx with Rush to your hand. I mean, honestly, you're able to play a 1/1 with upside, and it's 1 mana. This is going to be an auto include. I wouldn't say in every single Hunter deck, because you got to remember, if this is definitely for Beast Hunter, which of course you play this and then you can play the Headhunter's Hatchet afterwards. But if you're in a Spell Hunter where you specifically want spells, then you're probably not going to play this. But anything other than that, you'll play it. It's a great card. It really is. Overall, Hunter got some good stuff. People are definitely going to be playing for the hero Zul'jin, which is weird that they did Hunter to having a specific hero this time around. But whatever. It's not like you're not going to take it. But overall, Hunter looks good for this expansion. All right, next is Mage. So Mage, their theme is more of a hero power centric, and of course they got some elemental stuff here and there. But let's start with the first one. We got the champion is Hexlord Malakras. 8 mana, 5/5, Battlecry, add a copy of your opening hand to your hand, except that card. So if this card is in the beginning of your opening hand, you're not going to get another copy of it. But the fact that you can fill your hand with more cards, and some that, whether you've played them already or not, including the coin, I mean, anything that gives you cards is great. So overall, I think it's going to be great. People are going to play this. It's going to test it out. I mean, it's a good card. I mean, it costs a lot, but in the late game, if you're able to get back what you've had in the past, that's nothing more than help you. And you can plan ahead. If you know this is in your deck, you can kind of plan and be like, all right, I want a second copy of this Mana Worm or something. I don't know. I mean, just if you're doing elementals, overall, it's a good card that gives you more cards. So it's great. It's going to give you what? If you're going first, +3 cards. If you're going second, +3 cards and a coin. So 4 cards. So it's going to take some thinking and planning ahead, but overall, I think it's going to be great. All right, next. I'm going to butcher this name. Jaina Laya, the Dragonhawk. 7 mana, 4/4. Battlecry. If your hero power dealt 8 damage this game, summon Ragnaros the Fire Lord. So, welcome back, Ragnaros. even though you're in the Hall of Fame and can't be played, you can be played. So, and Ragnaros is elemental, so if you are already your Death Knight form, not only do you summon Ragnaros, but you gain 8 health no matter what he hits. So that just makes Jaina even more powerful. So yeah, this is almost all include. Now, granted, you got to do 8 damage is the stipulation, and it does track it as you keep going. But you got to do 8 damage just to summon him. Just weave those hero powers in. You don't even have to like play him right or play her, whatever. You don't have to play this Dragonhawk right at 7. You you could just wait because a lot of things about the Death Knight form, and you have all these water elementals. I mean, you're almost control oriented. So drop this down. By the time you got 8 damage in, Ragnaros is there to help you out, and that's just another body. And anything that summons another body, it's great. Especially has life steal. I wouldn't, man. It's pretty strong. It really is. The only key thing is, it's like it's gonna be other things like. I mean, Mage right now is already pretty strong with the Death Knight form, so this just only helps it out. Alright, so next 5 mana Blast Wave. Deal 2 damage to all minions, overkill. Add a random mage spell to your hand. So this, of course, is overkill per enemy minion. The good thing is that you are mage, so you could have cards that have spell damage. So anything you overkill, including your own minions. Now remember, it's everything on the board. So anything that dies, you're getting more spells. So you can literally come back if have so many minions on the board, enemy minions, whatever, and this destroys a lot of things after you play the spell damage. Refill your hand. And anything that generates cards is a great thing. Now, of course, granted, it's 5 mana, so that's a lot. But if you're going to be a control mage oriented, that'll work. 3 mana, splitting image, secret. When one of your minions is attacked, summon a copy of it. So the beauty here is it's whenever your minion is attacked. It's not when it dies. So you can have, God, I mean, what? Just have Lich King there and have this already up there. You have no minions on the board. You play Lich King next turn. They hit Lich King. You have 2 Lich Kings. Granted, one is damaged, but this is a pretty strong secret. I think it's going to work out well. And all the secrets that you already have as mage, so it's just going to make it even. Whenever you're facing against mage, it's already tough enough. You're trying to sit there and be like, okay, what secret could this be? It's just another one to add to the mix. So it's good. It's a good secret. And anything that creates something. Now, of course, you just got to plan ahead because you got to anticipate what they're going to hit. But just play a taunt minion, play this down, you're good. Now, I got to remind you guys, this right here is all about the standard. Wild is entirely different. So this review isn't for Wild. This is just specifically, we're talking here, standard. All right. This has got to be misspelling. I mean, I assume this is supposed to be Scorch, but it's like Scorce. Okay, sure. Anyway, 4 mana, deal 4 damage to a minion, costs 1 if you played Elemental last turn. Now, that's not 1 less. It's just that spell is just 1 in general. So, I mean, it's great. It's if you already got elementals for your Death Knight Jaina, and you're gonna at least probably include one of this in here just for the versatility. And what if you're a control by the end of the game and you didn't play an elemental the turn before? You're basically like, oh well, 4 damage or something. That could help out with Blast Wave or any other thing. Alright, 3 mana, 3/4, Pyromaniac. Whenever your hero power kills a minion, draw a card. So, I mean, you can include this in already. I mean, the key is it's not elemental, and this is going to be a card that's on the bubble. So it's going to probably be that card that's, your deck already has 30 cards, and this might be 31 or 32. You might want to include it in for the cycle, but you already have other cards that could cycle from the last expansion. So you may want to include it. It's going to be 3 mana, 3/4, so it's a good stat line, but weave it in with a hero power on top of it, so that makes it 5 mana. Yeah, it's definitely on the bubble. But you can have other cards included and it'd be a lot better. Unless you basically pair it with your Spirit. So Spirit of the Dragonhawk, Stealth for 1 turn, they all have Stealth. Your hero power also targets adjacent minions. So you drop this down. Of course, you use your hero power, so it's going to be 4 mana. So it's going to hit not only the minion you're pointing at, but the 2 next to it, which will bounce off of the Dragonhawk itself. That will be 3 damage counted off on that. So that makes it even quicker for you to get Ragnaros. I mean, it's strong, granted. And also got to remember, what if you hold this Spirit all the way until after your Death Knight form and you attack with it? Then you can summon some water elementals, which is what you want. You want water elementals, so it's a great thing. Alright. 6 mana, Arcanosaur, Battlecry. If you played an elemental last turn, deal 3 damage to all other minions. So this is Mage being jealous of Priest, essentially. For the dragon that they have, that will automatically do this exact same thing earlier, and the only stipulation is to have another dragon in your hand, which is easier than the elemental. Now, the other side, flip side of it, remember, if you've already done Frost Lich Jaina and you play this, all of that is going to be heals. So, of course, on the stipulation that you played an elemental last turn. So you got to remember, anything with this elemental tag, you got to consider what happens after your Frost Lich Jaina, because, I mean, it's going to help you out. So it's like a one-time weaker Baron Geddon. Or not one time, but just basically like Baron Geddon does it every turn, but then this one's just going to do it on the turn that it comes out. So, I mean, you might want to include it after Frost Lich Jaina, but if you are, it might just be 1. Alright. Daring Fire Eater. 1 mana, 1/1, Battlecry. Your next hero power this turn deals 2 more damage. Now, the key is it says 2 more damage. So, if you, of course, 3 costs after this with your hero power is going to be doing 3 damage to any specific minion. That will count towards your Dragonhawk, towards Ragnaros. I mean, it's 1 mana, so it has the versatility. I mean, the key is this going to take a card slot? And if you already have strong cards like the Lich King, like the Dragonhawk, maybe even Hexlord in it, would you want, because you're not going to play this on turn 1. You're going to at least play it on turn 3 at the earliest. Otherwise, I mean, the versatility of it is strong. And if you hold on to it in a late game and you are Frost Lich Jaina, play this, then you can get your water elemental easier instead of just trying to mathematically figure out to get it to 1 health to get your water elementals. Because if you can get your water elementals, you basically have won. So, overall, it's a good card, but it's just kind of like, it's not a 1 cost, if you will. But it helps in so many other things. And, of course, if you pair it with Spirit of the Dragonhawk, it's going to do 3 damage to 3 minions. So, this alone So if you get Spirit, you got this, your hero power, you do 9 damage, bam, you already got Dragonhawk done. And then Ragnaros the next turn. You can use it for that benefit, or you can do it over the course of the match, whichever is easier for you. It's going to be experimented with. People are going to use it. All right. Elemental Evocation. The next elemental you play this turn costs 2 less. So in the beginning, I thought this was like a card that is like whatever, why include it in. But the key is, it is like old school Innervate that was in Druid, and which had been nerfed. But if you have this card, one thing about Druid, it having Innervate, trust me, if Innervate was in other classes, if they had the choice to, they would definitely want it. So this is kind of like it, but only for elementals. So it could be useful for your Arcanosaur. It could be useful for some of these other elementals from the past expansions. So, I mean, honestly, I think it's going to be experimented with. The key is this, are you including 2 of these or 1 of these? And I think that's the bigger discussion. Is it versatile to where you want to include just 1? And it ultimately, I think, comes down to how many elementals you have in your deck at the time. Of course, you're going to want Frostledge Jaina in it. But if you can decide that, then that's where the base discussion is going to be. Is it going to be 1 or 2? Otherwise, it's strong. I mean, it really is. So, overall, Mage, I think Mage is strong this time, mainly because this is going to bring out Ragnaros. It's going to bring out, if you have your Death Knight, I mean, Jaina's Death Knight was already pretty strong and annoying with the water elementals, but adding this to it, it's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, the meta for Mage is going to be really interesting. The key is, are you going to be more hero power centric just to get Ragnaros, or are you going to be kind of like passive, where you just include the Dragonhawk and then slowly build up to doing 8 damage? Or are you going to include these spirits, the Fire Eater, all this other stuff to accelerate it, essentially? And let's not forget, if you were to copy this with Gorgon or Zola the Gorgon and copy it, that's another Ragnaros, because it's going to stack. It's going to remember the 8 damage you've already done. So that's great. It really is. All right, Paladin. Paladin is pretty interesting this time around. They kind of went more of a healing route, if you will, and trying to get more control base. So starting off, you got the Loa Spirit, Shirvala the Tiger, 25, of course, mana, but 7 attack, 5 health, yet it has Divine Shield, Rush, and Lifesteal. Costs 1 less for each mana you've spent on spells. So, of course, in the game, which they should have added this game or whatever on it, but it doesn't matter. Key is whatever spells you've used. So you're going to want to include some spells in there to discount this. But when you have this, I mean, it's going to affect the board. The key is, so I've been hearing murmurs of that people are going to try to use this more of a 1-turn kill, make copies of it, Baleful Banker, all that stuff, put it in your deck, and then try to 1-turn kill it. I mean, honestly, yeah, there's going to be YouTube videos and stuff of people doing that. Granted, that's going to happen. You're going to see it. You're going to see in the highlights. You're going to see Trolled in, doing it. But Shirvala, overall, I think is an okay card. Is it unfair? I mean, it's not really unfair. I mean, I think it's just an okay card. But here we have 3 mana, 3/4, High Priest Thekel. Battlecry, convert all but one of your hero's health into armor. So that right there actually brings out Healadin. So before, if you were trying to do a heal centric paladin, if you got full health, then what was the point? Now, convert all your health to armor, gain more health, bam. What would be funny though is if you try to do the very long game and did this, copied it with Zola, did it again later in the game, so then you have so much armor and you're doing nothing but healing. Now that would be straight up as a control paladin. And until they make something in the future, which they might, like that destroys armor very quickly, I mean, you can have a very tanky paladin. But is it more to outlast your opponent? Because I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if it's going to be like a try to outlast your opponent type paladin. Anyway, next, 7 mana, a new challenger. Discover a 6 cost minion, summon it with Taunt and Divine Shield. Alright, so the key is 7 mana, brings out the new challenger. It's discovery, so you kind of see which would be the best for you. I mean, the only problem with this is it kind of costs a lot, but you kind of want it to cost a lot, so you can kind of discount your Shivala. I mean, it's going to help towards the control paladin aspect, but the key is it going to be 1 or 2 copies of it? And I definitely think you're going to at least put one so you can kind of protect yourself. But honestly, you probably don't need that if you use timeout, which we'll get to in a moment. But anyway, next 2 mana, 1/3, Immortal Prelate. Death Rattle. Shuffle this into your deck. It keeps any enchantments. So this would be good if you did a lot of buffing to it. It's 2 mana, so you can throw it out with the fact that it has 3 health early in the game. Then do some type of buffing to it as the game progresses, and the fact that it will go into your deck constantly. I mean, it's going to be experimented with. It's going to be interesting to see if it is. The key is, will you be running your quest with this? Because if you are buffing this and your quest is to buff several of your minions, yeah, I mean, it goes, all these cards, which we'll discuss here, goes towards a control paladin theme. But most paladin is gonna, it's been like, you have like dude paladin, which is almost aggro-ish, and then you have mid-range paladin. So this is gonna be controlling through healing, if you will, and with Shivala, the lifesteal and all that. It's gonna be interesting to see how that works. All right. Faraki Battle Axe, 5 mana, 3 attack, 3 durability. Overkill, give a minion in your hand +2/+2. Honestly, I mean, you might include 1 in that, but it's not an overly strong weapon, especially with 3 attack. It's weak, honestly. I mean, you might as well use your other weapons that Paladin already has, and it'd still be better. Zenilari Templar, 4 mana, 4/4 battle cry. If you restore 10 health this game, gain +4/+4 in taunt. So, I mean, by 4 mana though, will you already have healed that much if you're going to use High Priest Thekel? Which, let's take a moment to discuss how this is a priest and a paladin. Why isn't it a priest? Come on now. It literally has priest in his name. Anyway. So Zenilari Templar. The key is, I mean, yes, it's gonna be taunt. It's gonna be an 8/8, 4 mana 8/8 with taunt. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's a really strong one because you have to have healed yourself at least for 10. There are ways to do that, but I mean, I guess you can use timeout to kind of help yourself out to do that, but I think there are going to be other cards that be better for you than just this. Now, Spirit of Tiger, this is what's kind of helping you towards Shivala. Stealth for one turn. After you cast a spell, summon a tiger that costs equal that or sorry, tiger with stats equal to his cost. So you play a new challenger, for example, it's going to be a 7/7 tiger. So not only you're discounting your Shivala, you're actually summoning things to the board. Now, like I said before, this is control centric because if you in the meta we are in with Dude Paladin, it's already gonna kind of be like, well, I have this when I can have my 1/1s that basically stomp through people. But it can still be pretty good with the fact that it is a. I mean, it's going to be played regardless, especially in the Shivala deck. So then that way you can play these high cost tigers, or even if you played like Consecration, that's 4 mana. That's a 4/4. So you can kind of weave things in here and there. The only downside is if you did like Equality, and it would summon a 2/2, but then it'll go back down to 2/1. So that's unfortunate, but otherwise, it's all right. So timeout. This is what's gonna try to make it more of a control paladin because having two in these deck, you're literally saving yourself for 2 turns. So your hero is immune until your next turn. I'm surprised that they didn't try to make a legendary that did that for one. You know, instead of having two. The key is you're using 3 mana to do it, but like it says, it is a timeout. Can't be touched. So what are you gonna do? All right, a flash of light, 2 mana, restore 4 health, draw a card. Now, I don't know if anybody else has seen this, but it caught my eye that look at the art on this card and then go back and look at the art on the mage. It's pretty interesting. Like this one has fire going to it, and of course it's like a horde Tauren. But then this one, it's like, oh, hey, thank you. You know, they kind of. It's pretty interesting. I wonder if they're. I mean, I could click it and find out, but you know, it's pretty interesting. Anyway, flash of light, restore 4 health, draw a card. It's almost going to be auto included into almost all paladin stuff. One for the draw card aspect of it, but the fact that it's versatile to heal something, whether it's yourself because you've high priest tackled, or a minion. And if you're a control paladin, you definitely want to heal in some way. All right, 1 mana, 2/2, Blood Claw, Battle Cry, deal 5 damage to your hero. So the fact you're doing this, you're damaging yourself so that way you can heal yourself. It's 1 mana. I mean, I guess it's versatile. The fact that it's a 2/2, but honestly, I would stick with the other weapons, and you can't go wrong. So I mean, I'm sure that people are going to try it out with the Blood Claw, but use your other weapons, and I think you. I mean, honestly, the for of course this is 1 mana versus 5 mana, but still, I mean, are you going to play this turn one? I mean, I guess you can to kind of depending on who you're facing. Like if you're facing another paladin, and he's like dude paladin making hero powering all his guys out, you might want to play it, but yeah, I think there'll be better other 1 drops you want to play turn one. All right, priest. Now priest. Okay, so priest is my favorite class. I love priest. I'll play priest all day long. But unfortunately, they kind of got the short end of the stick on this expansion, which I feel so bad. It's so wrong. Because priest needs help. But you have characters like Zedalot, and who's basically like the best priest player. He'll make something out of nothing. and I can't wait to see what he does. And I'll just use his deck. Of course, day one, I do try to make my own deck, so. Alright. Let's see, how many more classes we got? We got Rogue, Shaman, and then Neutrals. Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so. Alright, I'm gonna go through Priest, and then we're gonna cut this up into part 1, part 2, as far as for YouTube aspects. But otherwise, as far as class cards, we got Princess Talalanji. The cool thing about the lore is that she's actually the uh, daughter of basically Rastakhan, which is pretty cool. But I mean, okay, so 8 mana, 7/5 battlecry, summon all minions from your hand that didn't start in your deck. That is pretty strong. The problem is it's in the wrong class. I mean, yes, priests can steal cards from other people, and you can, play cards like, for example, if this was in Rogue, this probably overpowered. But it's in Priest, and it's kind of like, all right, we got to get minions that didn't start in your hand, all right? So, where does that begin? So, the key is, it hasn't been cleared, but it's going to be tested whether it's talking about anything that can be copied if it's the same one that started in your deck when you first started. We'll see how it goes, but I mean, honestly, it's strong in other classes. In Priest, it's like average, which is like, okay, all right. Now, granted, I will say, I bet you she's going to be strong in the future because I'm sure they're going to give Priest cards in the future that they got to be careful of what they do because if she's able to bring a whole board out her alone at turn 8, that could be a problem. But this expansion, so far, she's not that strong. We'll see if she can combo with Velen or copies of Velen or other things. But right now, it's unfortunate. Uh, Velen Samedi the Dead. Or Juan Samedi, however you want to say it. Anyway, battle 7 mana 7/7 battle cry. Draw 1 cost minions from your deck until your hand is full. So this is essentially filling your hand. If you're, as a priest, honestly, you're gonna have a big hand. There's every now and then you're not, but the key is the 1 cost. Now you're wondering, what's the whole point of 1 cost? But if you look down here with the spirit, it after a friendly minion dies, shuffle a 1 cost copy of it into your deck. So the combo is to play this, trade off your minions, have them 1 cost copies of it, play this guy, so then that way you get them from your deck into your hand. So we're talking about Death Rattle minions, especially strong Death Rattle minions that cost 1. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some future combos. We'll see how it goes right now. Alright, now, Surrender to Madness, 3 mana. Destroy 3 of your mana crystals, give all minions in your deck +2/+2. This right here is the absolute worst card in this expansion. Absolutely the worst. I mean, I have no clue how this passed playtesting. Because even at 3 mana, if this said destroy 1 of your mana crystals, as Priest, even that would have been like, ooh, do I really want to do it? Are you sure I want to do it? Does Priest need, I mean, one thing that Priest struggles with, if they had a way to ramp, they would be as strong as Druid, but they don't. So a lot of your help me, aggro's killing me cards are high costed. Like 7 mana, old school light bomb with 6 mana. I mean, you're sitting there, which as priest, a lot of times you're hero powering your face and passing. That's the way priest is. It's specifically a control. But here they want you like some like type of priest zoo, which I mean is semi possible. But the fact that this is destroying three of your mana crystals, I mean, think of it. Turn three, you play this, you're at zero. Okay? It's just, and then by the late game, you don't have a lot of cards in your deck. Why are you going to play this? The only thing I see this working out is if you played Archmage Benedictus, took your opponent's deck, added it to yours, then played this, just so that whatever cards you got from your opponent are already buffed. That's the only real thing I see. But then you get your opponent's cards, and what? Next turn, you have 8 mana. You don't even have the full mana that you had the turn before that you played this. Ugh. I this is. Anyway, we're moving on. Alright, from a bad card to a good one. 2 mana, 3/2. Arcanine Phantasm. So if you're a priest player like me, you know how important Arcanine Soul Priest, how strong she is and how helpful she is. The only drawback is she's like 4 mana. So even if you're up against aggro, you're sitting there and you're like, great, I gotta get hit in the face for several turns before I can clear the board. Now you can play her, and she's probably gonna die a lot, especially if you do Circle of Healing, because it's just gonna instantly kill her. But Battlecry this turn, your healing effects deal damage instead. So it's only one turn. It's different from Arcanine, which is good because we got a card down here called Regenerate, restore 3 health, which can work well with her, honestly. Which that right there, I think, is going to be a great card in Priest, especially about these spells, but we'll get to it. Alright, 12 mana, 7/8, taunt, cost 1 less for each spell you've cast this game. So, Priest does have an okay amount of spells, but a lot of those times there's spells you want to kind of combo, or, I mean, of course, you have shadow visions and stuff, so yes, you can shadow visions endlessly, and it's gonna help out. But still, honestly, I think this card is okay as a priest player. I mean, you're not gonna play an arena unless you have a lot of spells. And constructed where this card, if you can get it off, play it. The key is if you can resurrect it. But you definitely want it cheap. You want it. You really want to play this cheap. If you can get this down and play like 6 spells or so and get it down to 6 costs, 5 costs, then it's strong. But man, there's a lot of spells you got to play just to get this guy out there. But I mean, he's a taunt, 7/8 taunt. I mean, 8 health is it's a good amount. So we'll see. All right, Mass Hysteria. Force each minion to attack another random minion. So this right here is definitely going to be an autoclude in Priest. The key is it's 5 mana, and then you don't have to wait till Psychic Scream at 7 mana. So it's going to be played. The key is, if you haven't seen it already, one of you ever watched Trump SC on YouTube and Twitch did great tests on this, and what he found was that if anything, it has a lot of health, especially those high health, low attack minions. They normally are going to end up surviving this, which we're priest, so we do typically have that. So the key is it's 5. It's 5. So thank God they kind of gave us some type of semi board clear, maybe. for 5 mana. So even if it doesn't clear the board, it weakens it. So let's say, honestly, if you could, maybe Void Ripper and then do this might be better because you actually change it to where everything has high attack. But it's something, and it's something that will help Priest out to live longer. Spirit of Dead, like I said, it's just you're gonna want to combo this, and because it has stealth, you maybe want to sit it behind some taunt minions. I'm, I mean, I'm going to experiment with it. Don't get me wrong. Come Monday, Tuesday, whatever, I'm definitely going to be trying it out because I mean I'm a priest player. I'm definitely going to be trying it out. All right, a 3 mana 3/3 Sand Drudge. When you cast a spell, summon a 1/1 zombie with taunt. Another anti-aggro type thing, but the only it is Violet Teacher, except that the students are taunt, and he kind of protects it, so that's why it doesn't have the same health cost as Violet Teacher. The only thing is Priest. It's just that it's like Blizzard. The developers were like, priests have so many spells that they cast, and they really don't. I mean, you got shadow visions into things. I mean, you have the coin, I guess, but half the time. But the fact that I mean, this could be good if you try to do like some type of priest zoo or some type of anti aggro type thing. But you definitely would have to practice. I mean, have to have a handful of spells. But if you're gonna have a handful of spells, you might as well have Lyra in it. And I mean, this right here, I guess this will probably get in the future, but right now, where we're in right now, the meta, I don't think it's gonna be that good. Now, on to two really good cards though. We have Seance. Choose a minion, add a copy of it to your hand. Bam. So this is like Zola, but better. It's cheaper. You don't get the Zola body, but think of it like this: add Zola, add two of these. I mean, what you get like 4 copies. I mean, you can get even more than that if you Shadow Visions into this. But you can get multiple copies of your quest and go into 40 health. Get like Archmage Benedictus, go into the super control games. I mean, what can your opponent do? You have their deck, you have their you're copying all over and over and over again, getting back to 40 health every time they use resources to try to kill you, and you just outlive them. Go into fatigue, and every time you're taking this fatigue damage, bam, 40 health. It's great. So this is going to be a card that we're definitely going to be using a lot of, even in the future. All right. Finally, regenerate. 0 cost, restore 3 health. Overall, I mean, it's great because you can either heal yourself, heal a minion, or even use it for Arcanine Phantasm and do damage and 3 health. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here that has 3 health or lower. So, I mean, for 0 mana, that's great. It's the key. I mean, is it going to be an auto include in the priest decks? I mean, it's going to be at least one, I would say, just to kind of keep you alive or your minions alive. I mean, think about it. This is 0, so you can heal for 5 if you use your hero power on top of this. Or even the hero Death Knight. The fact is, you do damage to something, heal anything, do another 2. I mean, it's gonna help out Anduin a lot. There's Shadow Reaper Anduin as well. All right, so that's the review for tonight. Part 1 of the class card review. Hope it was in depth. Hope you guys learned something, and definitely comment and say what you guys say about it. We will definitely continue on to part 2 with the other classes. We got Rogue, Shaman, Warlock, and warrior. Hint, or is it hint? Warrior is going to look pretty good this expansion. And then we'll go into neutrals on the part 3 of the review. But I appreciate you guys, and I will see you later.